इतनी परफॉर्मेंस के बाद अगर आप ना जीते, फाइनल में ना पहुंचे, कि अफसोस सबको है, लेकिन इनको कितना अफसोस हुआ होगा कि इतनी एफर्ट करने के बाद भी। लेकिन इनकी बैटिंग देख के, बाबर की, फ़खर की और तमाम प्लेयर्स की परफॉर्मेंस देख के एक होप हो चलिए पूरे पाकिस्तान को कि फ्यूचर में आके ये प्लेयर्स बड़ा नाम करेंगे और अगले इवेंट भी आएंगे, अलग टेस्ट मैचेस भी आने वाले हैं पाकिस्तान के। तो इसको बस एक तरह से आपको झाड़ना पड़ेगा, भूलना पड़ेगा यानी वर्ल्ड कप को। लेकिन जितना भी खेला पाकिस्तान ने, बहुत ही ज़बरदस्त क्रिकेट खेली है और इसके लिए सारे मुबारकबाद के मुस्तहिक हैं।
बिल्कुल मुबारकबाद के मुस्तहिक है। मोहम्मद रिजवान, हिज वर्क एथिक, वी हैव टॉक्ड अबाउट दैट अ लॉट, एंड with his sickness he was still there in that humidity, and I mean, what can we talk about his commitment more? He's been great at the top. 1,000 runs in T20 in a calendar year.
Yeah, coming from hospital, out of hospital to play a game like this is a remarkable achievement in anyone's book. He looked, I mean, the only thing to say, he looked, dare I say, a little feverish right at the start, didn't he? I mean, that's probably the wrong word technically, but he was a little nervous, he was a little edgy, so it took him, what, 5-10 minutes to settle, but then straight into it.
You just look at him, he's a warrior. You know, just the way in which he go, just the body language, and you wouldn't realize that there was any sort of illness associated to him the way he played today. But he's just an individual. When he, especially some of those shots that he played towards the onside, his bat was like a swordsman. You know, he was like Zorro or one of these individuals, the characters, you know.
Yeah.
Just how quickly the arms move, you know, and that's very impressive. And what I can say as well, too, the guy who you would have replaced would have been from Sarfaraz, from the Creator Gladiators there. He was a busybody as well. But to replace him, he had to be extra special. And this guy brought it. You know, he's a huge difference to what goes on with the Pakistan innings.
Yeah, and we'll move on from him. Fakhar Zaman, I think you've told me a dozen times in the last 3 weeks, he's a big match player. We finally found the match that he likes, because this was by far his best performance.
I mean, look, today, few shots was like, my God, goodness me, outstanding. 2 sixes, pretty. One was flat, and in the end, 2 super sixes.
They'll be coming.
He's the kind of player who has his own zones. One day he walks in, you will find him a different player, and then next 1 or 2 games he will be doing something very ordinary, but he's a kind of match winner. Can play unbelievable inning. But
well, they needed this today for sure. And at the time, it looked like a bit of a saviour. It looked as though it got them far enough, close enough to the right sort of target.
176, for us, for me, it was a very, very good score. But I think from over 1 to 20, all positives going on. They never felt short of runs or under pressure. Everything was smooth. 176, happy. Got 2 early wickets, and then all of a sudden, England couldn't defend 162, and Pakistan even 176.
It has been the trend in the tournament, hasn't it?
And that thing is right, that it's hard to defend whatever happens, because there is only one team defended all games in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. The similar patterns.
इसमें देखिए, हमें भी मैचअप की ज़रूरत है। इसमें हमने बात की कि इमाद वसीम को न्यू बॉल करनी चाहिए थी। ये वीडियो एनालिस्ट का, डाटा एनालिस्ट का काम था कि जब फिंच आउट हो गया है तो वार्नर सबसे अच्छा जो खेलता है वो लेफ्ट आर्म स्पिनर को खेलता है। उसकी स्ट्राइक रेट कैरियर की 157 की है, तो इमाद को फौरन से हटा देना चाहिए था
उस वक्त हफीज को,
क्योंकि और उसका क्या है, चौथा आप उसको यहाँ पे फॉलो कर रहे हैं। गेम एक्चुअली चौथे ओवर में 17 रन जो इमाद ने बनाया वहां से टर्न किया उसने।
एज ए कैप्टन में सबसे बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट मैच था, इंडिया वाला और ये वाला मैच। तो इसमें मिस्टेक्स होती हैं। हफीज जिस वक्त बॉल करने आए, वो जो 2 टिप्पों वाला बॉल हो गया, उस पर 6 लग गया, लेकिन वो मोमेंटम
शिफ्ट हो गया।
हाँ जी, मोमेंटम शिफ्ट होता है, छोटी गेम है, तो उसमें आपका गेम जो है ना वो आपके हाथ से निकल सकता है।
कुछ गलतियां होती शुरू में, लेकिन आखिरी प्लेयर नजर आ जाता है कि मिस्टेक किससे होगी। आखिरी गलती आखिर की नहीं होती, 2 ओवर की। हम बीच में 2 गलतियां ऐसी करते हैं जिससे पूरा मैच शिफ्ट होता जाता है।
बिल्कुल।
तो
और
आज भी ऐसे ही
बिल्कुल, और हम जीतते भी साथ हैं, हारते भी साथ हैं, तो किसी एक भी प्लेयर के ऊपर सारी जिम्मेदारी नहीं डालनी चाहिए। अब हम साथ बाबर आजम की तरफ भी जाते हैं, जिन्होंने आज
Just about makes sense to me, not quite.
And another 71 runs partnership on pressure game. I think they have done it everything, platform, everything. Good and reasonable strike rate was there. They done their part, and then rest of the team, Fakhar, used that platform really well, and they ended up with a very good total.
I mean, at least Barber actually looked as though he settled almost immediately. In fact, right from the start, he looked in control from the start. That shot through the offside early just was pure Barber. That was pure class.
Yeah, he's. We all say that over and over again. He's a very special player, and regardless of what happened tonight, he would have made a significant contribution. Why Pakistan would have reached so far, and it's just a little sad in some ways that we all speak of Fakhar as a man being a big match player, that he came good tonight, and we're not going to see him further in the final. That I think will be tough for him because he would have finished on a good note, 55 of 32 deliveries. You couldn't ask anything better. And our guy would have backed him 120% that he's a big match player, but it's sad that we won't see him in the final.
I'm sure there'll be other big match
That's
players
right.
we can talk about in 3 days' time as we build up to that. Yes, so I mean, it wasn't as though they went a long way down the batting order either. And you had that situation again at the end where Shoaib, Mohammed Hafiz, Asif Ali came in with a mission just to try and clear the boundary. And of course, it's that invidious situation where if you don't quite get it right and you fall short, well, you end up with sort of a couple of low scores at the end. What we can show you actually is the fall of wickets in that Pakistan innings, just to illustrate the point. Started with actually slightly uncharacteristic from Babar Azam, not quite out of the middle of the bat. And the Australian fielding, the Australian catching here, David Warner, just off the ground a little bit. Thank you very much. Takes it very comfortably.
And you're not the tallest guy, really. So,
that's why I have to
that's
get off the
well judged. Well judged.
Get him a ladder. Get the boy a ladder. This was just bottom of the bat, wasn't it? From Rizwan, Steve Smith, simple catch. And then the big hits at the end, the attempted big hits. Sometimes it works. It's clever bowling with the fingers over the top of the ball. Asif Ali, first ball, dreaming of 6.
This wicket actually has at least saved 20 runs, 15-20 runs for Australia. Asif Ali, because there were still 2 overs to go.
That's the potential. So Malik got a bit cramped there, didn't he? Got a bit sort of ran out of time, I think, in a hurry. Good bowling from Mitchell Stark, but again, this is that was interesting to me because Stark at the front looked good again. Towards the end of the innings, actually, he missed his lengths and a couple of shots went out the ground. Fakhar Zaman, of course, was brilliant and picked him up nicely. This is what makes T20 interesting, to use a sort of mild word, because anything can happen.
Anything can happen to anyone because Josh Hazelwood को हम इतना बिल्डअप कर रहे थे, उनका एक ओवर जो 17वां ओवर जो था
21 रन का गया है, गलत सिलेक्शन थी इनकी। इस टाइप के बॉलर जो सीमर हो, अच्छी बॉल करते हैं, उनको पहले ही खत्म कर देना चाहिए। लेकिन क्या किया इन्होंने, जैम्पा को पहले 13 ओवर शायद किया उन्होंने, और अपने जो 5th और 6th बॉलर को तो उनको भी खत्म कर लिया था। तो इसलिए उनको कराना पड़ा क्योंकि 4 बॉलर से खेल रहे थे। अगर 5वां इनके पास होता, पैटिंसन टाइप का बॉलर होता या जे रिचर्डसन होता तो, पर वो जो उन्होंने बैटिंग खिला दी उसी से पूरा कर दिया उन्होंने। एक चीज उमर भाई, बिफोर हम ब्रेक के ऊपर जाएं, देखा कल इंग्लैंड को भी नहीं एग्जैक्टली पता चला, उनके पास भी विकेट्स इन हैंड थी। आज पाकिस्तान के पास भी विकेट्स इन हैंड, 4 विकेटों पे 176 किया है। तो अभी तक कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा टीम को, टूर्नामेंट अब आखिरी मैच पे पहुंच गया है
اور عاقب بھائی نے شروع میں بات کی تھی کہ یہ وہ والا ٹورنامنٹ ہے کہ پچ پہ رنز ہوں گے اور پھر وہ بار بار چیز ہو جائیں گے اور پتہ نہیں چلے گا ایگزیکٹ ٹوٹل کیا ہے. یہ مسئلہ ابھی تک سالو نہیں
بالکل
ہوا.
وہ جو کہتے ہیں نا کہ فرسٹ اننگ میں آپ کو ٹارگیٹ سیٹ نہیں کر سکتے. لائک آپ ایک جو بہت کم ایسا ہوتا ہے, ریئر ہوتا ہے کہ آپ جاتے ہو نا, آپ پچ کے حساب سے آپ جاتے ہو, ٹارگیٹ سیٹ کرتے ہو. جو ہم ایکسپیکٹ کر رہے تھے کہ فرسٹ پاور پلے میں فرسٹ 6 اوور میں ہمیں کتنے کرنا چاہیے, جو ہم ایکسپیکٹ کر رہے تھے اتنا ہی ہوا. 45 ہم کہہ رہے تھے, 40 45 47 ہم نے کیے, وکٹ لوز نہیں کیا ہم نے. اور جس طرح پھر ہم ان بٹوین جو اوورس کی بات کر رہے تھے, آئی تھنک اوور آل ہمارا اچھا ٹارگیٹ لگا دیا تھا ہم نے بورڈ پہ 176. لیکن جو سیکنڈ بیٹنگ آسٹریلین کو پتا تھا کہ کیا ٹارگیٹ ہے, اس کے کس رن ریٹ سے ہم نے جانا ہے, تو اسی کو برقرار رکھتے ہوئے وارنر نے جس طرح اسٹارٹ کیا اور جس طرح میں نے ارلی کہا کہ مومنٹم کو باقی بیٹسمینوں نے اسی طرح رکھا, تو ان کو پتا تھا کہ ہمارے پاس ایک ٹارگیٹ ہے اور جو رن ریٹ ریکوائرڈ ہے, تو انہوں نے اس کو بالکل بھی بریک نہیں ہونے دیا. آل دو ان کے بیک ٹو بیک وکٹ بھی گر گئے, لیکن ان کو اپنے ٹارگیٹ کا پتا تھا.
بالکل. And we have reached the last match of the tournament after this, and still we don't know what's a good total to put on the board, which will be defendable.
Better to win the toss.
Well, okay, we'll have one more go at it.
Okay.
We'll give that a go on Saturday. Right, let's take another break. We still have lots more to look at in terms of the performances that have made this the special game that it was tonight. See you in a moment. For the moment, though, it's Game on Hay. With you on today's game. Just to remind you, of course, yes, Pakistan, their unbeaten run came to an end tonight. Australia have found their way into the final, and they will, of course, play New Zealand there on Sunday. And the performances that got them there, well, in the end, they had to chase. So it's their batsmen who succeeded with that, and all credit to them. That partnership between Stoinis and Wade at the end was the clincher for Australia. But if we look back at the performances that started off the chase, or one of the performances that started off the chase, David Warner, who's been a man in and out of form, whose form before this tournament was appalling. And his start to the tournament was single figures. Then he found a bit of inspiration. Today, he looked as though all that had been put behind him.
Yes, he started his runs against Sri Lanka. I remember that's where he got that confidence, and today he really used the matchup really well against Imad Wasim, and then this start of a delivery from Mohammad
Can I say,
Hafiz.
that was obviously, I'd forgotten, that was the turning point of the whole game.
Oh, good shot.
How many bounces was that?
Oh, what a shot.
Sorry.
So, yes, he set it up really well. راشد بھائی آپ نے میچ اپس کی بارے میں بات کی, اماد وسیم کا وہ اوور اس کے اوپر بھی آپ نے بات کی.
ایک چیز اور دیکھیے گا, شاداب کو اس نے لانگ آن پہ چھکا مارا ہے, اور ہم دیکھیں گے مچ مارش کو وہ گیا مڈ وکٹ پہ مارنا ہے, وہاں پہ آؤٹ ہوا. اس سے پہلے ایک میچ میں دیکھیے گا عادل کو مارا تھا گپٹل نے, وہ بھی کراس مارا, وہ بھی آؤٹ ہوا. پھر آپ نے اسمتھ کو دیکھا, اس نے بھی کراس مارا. میرے خیال سے یہاں پہ جو سامنے کھیل رہا ہے لیگ اسپنر کو, وہ سروائیو کر رہا ہے. جس نے یہاں پہ کراس کی اور سوئچ کیا اس نے میکسویل نے, وہ بھی آؤٹ. 3 تو ان کے ایسے ہی آؤٹ ہوئے جو غلط شاٹ کھیل کے. لگتا ہے ایسے ہی تھا کہ اگر یہ اب لگتا ہے ایسا کہ یہ اگر غلط شاٹ نہیں مارتے یہ 3 اوور پہلے میچ ختم کر دیتے, ایسا لگ رہا ہے.
اگر وارنر کو وہ پتہ نہیں کیا آواز آئی اور وہ چلا گیا.
یار آؤٹ بتاؤں کیا, کبھی کبھار نہیں ساؤنڈ آتی کبھی کبھار, لیکن جو بالر کا اور وکٹ کیپر کا ریئیکشن تھا اور وارنر کا, اس سے لگ رہا ہے آؤٹ تھا. خواجہ کے ساتھ 2 دفعہ ہوا ہے کہ اس کے بیٹ پہ نہیں لگی بال, لیکن اس پہ نظر آ گیا. تو
something wrong with the software.
اگر آپ وہ پچھلے میچ میں دیکھیں, کوئی محمد رضوان کی فور آرم پہ بال لگا تھا, اسنیکو نہیں آیا
کبھی کبھار. لیکن وارنر نے بہت کمال بیٹنگ کی ہے, اور جیسے چوتھا اوور کیا اماد کا, اس کو 17 رن کیے. اماد نے 2 اوور میں 8 رن دیے ہوئے تھے, لیکن اس میں جو دوسرا اوور ہے اس میں انہوں نے کافی رن دیے. بیچ میں ان کو لے کے آنا چاہیے, جیسے اظہر نے بھی بات کی ہے. وہ لیفٹ آرم اسپنر پہ بہت ہی کمفرٹیبل ہے. جب فنچ آؤٹ ہو گئے تو پھر شاید ایک آدھ حفیظ کو دائرے میں لے کے آ سکتے تھے, اتنی بڑی بات نہیں تھی. لیکن ہوتا ہے, اسی طرح سے سیکھتے ہیں. بابر ینگ کیپٹن ہے, اور اتنی ینگ کم عمری میں اس نے انڈیا کے خلاف میچ کھیلا, جیتا, نیوزی لینڈ, اور اس کے بعد سیمی فائنل کھیلا. تو اس سے لرننگ پروسیس جاری رہتا ہے ہمیشہ.
بالکل. اور سب سے امپریسو بات یہی تھی کہ ایرن فنچ بہت جلدی آؤٹ ہو گئے تھے, اس کے بعد یہ اننگز نے سیٹ اپ کیا پلیٹ فارم. So after Aaron Finch got out, Warner was the one who set up the platform for the batters to come. So that's why his innings was so special also.
Very much so, very much so. And that dismissal was bizarre, wasn't it? I mean, how can an Australian walking in a World Cup semi-final
Without taking the review.
Without apparently hitting it, but actually, I really want to find out what he says about that, which I hope someone over the next 24 hours will have asked him the question. But I mean, we've all seen Australians.
It's the mother
Rule
of
one. I
Australia.
mean, your great mate Ian Chappell, my great mate Ian Chappell. Umpires are there to make a decision.
Yes, you said that all the time.
It's as simple as that. Don't walk anywhere. Walking is for mugs.
This is the modern day Australian. Not the yesterday Australian.
I would not describe David Warner. I would not describe David Warner as the modern day Australian.
In terms of walking and not walking. But let's
okay,
be,
I bet you, Vivi, I bet you, if you ask him tomorrow, that there is no way that he obviously thought he'd hit it, and that if any review nowadays, if you've hit it, the review system will unearth it. So there is no way he was going to walk off there thinking, I haven't hit that.
Well, maybe the slicker wasn't working. Because to be fair, we saw him just sort of hesitated a little bit. Then he took off. I guess maybe it was to bring in stoners.
That's a nice theory.
Vivi, you are turning into the master of the conspiracy.
You never know. You never know.
We have spent weeks talking about matchups and combinations and all the rest of it. Actually, the secret to this World Cup is conspiracy.
Yeah. But to be fair, David, he never, after losing Finch that early, he never really sort of looked like he wanted to go into his shell. He felt that his body still looked pretty active and positive about what he wanted to get done. And he sort of set the platform in the end,
Indeed. Indeed. Now, Stoinis, the nature of the competition is if you don't get a chance to bat long, you end up in a situation like this where you're coming almost fresh to a key situation with not many runs behind you in the competition. And according to Matthew Wade after the game, he said Marcus was the one who was confident. He was the one who said, yeah, we're going to win this. Whereas Matthew Wade was going, need to get going here, not quite sure. So that actually shows a lot about his temperament.
If you look at his body language, he was there. He didn't try to play any risky shots. He was calm and composed.
He's a big unit too, actually, on the quad, isn't he? He's a strong man.
Actually, I spent some time with him at the Melbourne Stars, and he's a big, in terms of physique. I think obviously he's of Greek origin, of such. I think his parents is from that side, and you can see the sort of individual, the way he's built.
And if you nowadays calculate, we still, when you think 12 runs and over, now the game is changing. They target a bowler in first 2 overs. If they got a boundary, this 12 is nothing. So that's what it's happening. You're bringing down, and 5 overs, 60 runs, and then they calculate, okay, this one big over, and it's finished. And they target really one bowler and finish the game.
It works.
It works.
Sure works. I mean, it's changed the whole thing, Biff, hasn't it? Because if you sort of imagine,
he's a strong boy, and when you look and see, actually, you've never seen him the other side. That he's supposed to be an all-round in the team. You've never seen him have a ball. He had us to come and do something. We've seen him do it before. Whenever he gets going, he's just a clean hitter of a cricket ball.
Well, he obviously had the confidence. Matthew Wade certainly got going by the end. And the victim of Matthew Wade's skill and ingenuity was none other than Shaheen Shah Afridi, who, of course, has been one of the stars of the tournament, especially with the new ball. And it's extraordinary, isn't it, the margins. You miss your length by a foot or two at the end of the game, and things can change rapidly. This is
last over.
This is his last over, yeah.
उमर भाई ये आप बताएं लास्ट ओवर है बहुत ही अच्छी बैटिंग भी की वाले जो शाउट्स बड़े अच्छे नजर आए ये आउटसाइड लेग स्टंप पिच हो गया बच गए यहाँ पे
नहीं बिल्कुल क्रेडिट देना होगा मैथ्यू वेड को भी और जितने मेरे ख्याल से आजकल के क्रिकेट मॉडर्न डेज क्रिकेट में जिस तरह के बैट्समैनों ने शॉट इनोवेट किए एज अ बॉलर आपको भी बहुत ज़्यादा शार्प होना पड़ेगा मिस चांस के ड्रॉप पर। लेकिन मैं बात कर रहा हूँ लास्ट ओवर की कि आपको भी बहुत ज़्यादा शार्प होना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि जिस तरह के शॉट डेवलप किए बैट्समैन ने, सम टाइम आपको जो ना आप बैट्समैन के साथ ब्लफ भी खेलना पड़ता है कि आप प्रिडिक्टेबल नहीं हो सकते। जब आप प्रिडिक्टेबल हो गए तो आपको ये शॉट्स लग सकती है। आपको सम टाइम जो ना आप जिस तरह शाहीन बॉल कर रहा था वो उसको बैट्समैन को ही पता था कि उसने एक ही बॉल करना है, अंदर वाले यॉर्कर कर रहा है, तो उसने वो लेफ्ट शॉट खेले उसको। इस टाइम पे आप इन फ्यूचर आप अगर आप इस तरह का मौका दें तो उसको होना चाहिए कि अपना थर्ड मैन पीछे ले जाए, मिड ऑफ के ऊपर ले आए, तो फॉर 2 सेकंड बैट्समैन सोचे कि हाँ यार ये मुझे वाइड यॉर्कर भी कर सकता है, अंदर वाला भी कर सकता है। बेशक उसमें आप अगर अंदर वाले भी करते हो तो एटलीस्ट बैट्समैन के दिमाग में वो डाउट होगा कि हाँ यार ये दो डिफरेंट टाइप के फिल्टर में मुझे इसने रखे हुए, तो ये कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, वाइड यॉर्कर भी कर सकते हैं और अंदर वाला भी कर सकता है। लेकिन जब आप इतना प्रेडिक्टेबल हो जाते हो तो बैट्समैन के लिए भी इजी हो जाता है।
दूसरी चीज जो है सॉरी कि जब इफ यू आर 150 so why can't you have a fine leg there and you can bowl Yorkers, white line Yorkers, block hole, bouncers and slow one at the same time. Nowadays if you're predictably bowling in the block holes, then the batsmen are skillful enough to take you on.
And that's what they did against Rizwan, because Rizwan plays that shot too often, so they kept a fine leg, deep fine leg for him for a long period of time.
Good observation.
It's really important, as a bowler, you need to understand your strength and the batsman's strength as well. Like the, Matthew Wade, his go-to shot is there. He's a clean striker, co-corner. Rest, he paddles. So you need to hide the ball wide, like wide line, you go wide line, and you need to set the field to bowl different balls. You can't set the field, you can't have the fine leg up. If you want to have fine leg up, you can bring the square leg up and have a fine leg back, for this shot, to block this shot and square leg up. And then you can have third man back and bowl the wide ball as well.
मिड ऑफ के ऊपर बुलाना होगा फिर आपको, इसलिए कि वो आप उसके माइंड में कुछ होना चाहिए ना कि वो प्रिडिक्टेबल हो जाता है। सम टाइम आपको 145 प्लस आप बॉल कर रहे हो तो आपको अपने बॉल पे इतना कॉन्फिडेंस और कमांड होना चाहिए कि आप अपने बॉल को यूज़ करें। मेरे ख्याल से अगर आप इन फ्यूचर भी इस तरह होगा तो ऑब्वियसली ऐसे रिजल्ट होगा, लेकिन मेरे ख्याल से स्टिल यंग, वो आगे जाके इंशाल्लाह सीख सकता है। लेकिन
मैं थोड़ी उर्दू में बात करता हूँ कि इसको हमें कैसे करना चाहिए कि आप फील्ड जो सेट करें तो उसके पास एज अ बॉलर आपके पास ऑप्शन होने चाहिए कि आप उसमें डिफरेंट बॉल कर सकते हैं। तो उसमें बैट्समैन जो है ना वो आपको इस तरह लाइन अप करके शॉट्स नहीं खेल सकता। अगर बैट्समैन को पता ये तो उनका गो टू शॉट है, क्योंकि ये लोग जितने भी हैं ना, ऑस्ट्रेलियन देख लें, साउथ अफ्रीकन देख लें, ये लोग हॉकी भी बहुत ज़्यादा खेलते हैं, तो इनके लिए बॉल के नीचे जाना कोई मसला नहीं है। हमारे सब कॉन्टिनेंट लोगों के लिए थोड़ा मसला होता है कि हम बॉल के नीचे नहीं जाते। ये लोग बड़े आसानी से अगर ये आपको सामने छक्का मार दें तो फेयर ना, गुड शॉट। लेकिन ये वाला जो है ना वो चीकी रन्स के लिए आपको थोड़ा सा अपना माइंड और ऑप्शन आपके पास होनी चाहिए।
बिल्कुल, यही कुछ चीज़ें थी जो छूट गई पाकिस्तान की प्लानिंग से, एग्जीक्यूशन से, और आज सेमीफाइनल नहीं जीत सके। कुछ और भी मिस चांसेस हैं पाकिस्तान के, उनको भी देखते हैं और उनके ऊपर भी बात करते हैं। सम ऑफ द मिस चांसेस फ्रॉम पाकिस्तान, वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट दोज रन आउट्स, डायरेक्ट हिट्स।
That didn't miss by much.
And Warner gave up hope.
Great piece of fielding, just didn't miss by much at all. He's so quick
Forgetting
to
that
get
he
off
was
the ball.
the lefty.
And the release. I mean, it's what, 3-4 inches away from the stumps, do you reckon?
That's right. On another day.
Another one here.
Here it is.
Where
on another day.
actually-
On another day.
That was Wade. He only played one delivery before this.
Look at
But I
that.
reckon actually he could have steadied
Look at
himself.
that. He gave up
Yeah.
hope.
Could have steadied himself one more step before the throw,
He said it, yeah.
because Wade had just not gone anywhere. So he could have been maybe more accurate with that. Go on, throw it.
Third
Again,
one.
not
Yeah.
a chance.
Yeah.
What, these guys been practicing to hit the stumps or what? That stuff. That was
सामने
tough.
से ना
That
ये
was
लाइट
tough.
से
It stands out because the
कनोपी की
catching
लाइट है ये।
through the tournament has been
Lights.
so good. A lot of the catching has
Because
been excellent.
हम बात कर
But
रहे
that
थे
sums up, or these expressions
Yeah,
sum
wow,
up
wow.
how the game was going. And that was the moment we
Yeah.
talked about. Right. So Shoaib Malik showing compassion, understanding. By then, of course, the moment had gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By then, the danger was that what followed was going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
that's what Sir Viv also talked about. Ben Stokes. I mean, with these experiences, what kind of a person you become. So Shoaib Malik has had failures in his career, so he understands what Hasan Ali is going through.
Yep.
So it's really good that he went there, talked to him, because it might be his last World Cup also. So he must have been disappointed that the match was slipping away, but he still had that frame of mind that he could go and talk to his teammate.
This is why you have your experienced players in the team, and certainly that I think was a great moment for the young man. To let him know that we all would have messed up at some point. There's another time for you to come again. And I guess Hasan Ali, with his heart, he will definitely come again.
अगर हम दुबई की बात करें ना, तो उसमें हसन अली से कैच छूटा है तो लाइट्स नीचे पड़ती हैं, तो क्रूशल टाइम पे था. एक तो हम बात कर रहे हैं कॉन्फिडेंस उसका लो था, उससे कैच छूटा. आज हमने देखें कि ऑस्ट्रेलियन में स्टीव स्मिथ ने भी एक बड़ा इजी सा कैच छोड़ा, मतलब तो कैन हैपन टू एनीवन.
One of the safest hands in the game. You know, it happens, man. It happens.
And Steve Smith's catch was easier.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
for sure. All right, well, the nub of it all is this now means that New Zealand will meet Australia in the final on Sunday.
But before that, we will have a look at Shadab's bowling, who took 4 wickets.
Yeah, no, good call.
He was
Good call.
very, very impressive for Pakistan. हमने बात की थी लेग स्पिन की ऑस्ट्रेलिया के अगेंस्ट थोड़ा सा स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं, तो शादाब ने बहुत ही अच्छी बॉलिंग कराई.
बहुत अच्छी बॉल की उन्होंने, और गलत उन्होंने शॉट भी गलत मारे हैं, लेकिन ये है कि फिर भी 4 विकेट्स लिए हैं और एक कैच भी शायद ऊपर से गया है. तो शादाब को ज़रूरत थी इस परफॉर्मेंस की, अपने लिए भी ज़रूरत थी, क्योंकि इस वर्ल्ड कप से पहले बहुत ज़्यादा क्रिटिसाइज़ हुआ था इनकी सिलेक्शन का, लेकिन अगेंस्ट इंडिया न्यूजीलैंड बहुत ही तबाहकुन बॉलिंग की थी, और आज भी इन्होंने जो बॉलिंग की है तो कॉन्फिडेंस आएगा. ये भी शॉट भी इसमें
स्लाइड करने से भी नहीं घबराए, आगे बॉल रखा. जो हम जैम्पा की भी बात कर रहे थे जिस लेंथ को हिट किया, आज इन्होंने भी बहुत अच्छी
स्टंप्स के अंदर ही रखी है उन्होंने.
जी, सुबह भी हमने बात की थी जंपा का, और जो राशिद भाई बात कर रहे हैं, मैंने सुबह भी कहा था कि उस जंपा के अगेंस्ट भी ना जो लोग सीधी हिट करते हैं उनके लिए ज़्यादा चांस है. तो क्रॉस द लाइन जो है ना, यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा बॉल ग्रिप होता है या बॉल थोड़ा सा फंसता है, तो क्रॉस द लाइन जो है ना वो बहुत मुश्किल है.
और यहाँ पे लग रहा था उमर भाई के मैच हमारी तरफ आ गया है जब ये विकेट लिया. सेलिब्रेशन से भी अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं.
मैच तो उसी वक्त खत्म हो जाए, मैथ्यू वाइट ने हाथ मिलाया ना, फिर ये एक एग्जाम्पल है कि हाथ मिला के आओ, और क्या बैटिंग की है इन्होंने. और 10 ओवर में मैच कभी भी खत्म नहीं होता है कि 4 आउट हो जाए या 5. लास्ट नाइट मैच देखा आपने, डेरिल मिचेल की बैटिंग देखी है, उसने भी जो काम किया, या नीशम ने काम किया, सेम चीज़ स्टोइनिस और मैथ्यू वेड ने की है. तो क्रिकेट एंड तक बिल्कुल जाना चाहिए, इसीलिए कहते हैं कि बैटर को जो है ना डीप बैटिंग करनी चाहिए, जो आज 2 बैट्समैन ने की है.
बिल्कुल, और मुबारकबाद ज़रूर देंगे हारिस रऊफ की परफॉर्मेंस पे, ना सिर्फ बॉलिंग बट फील्डिंग भी उसने बड़ी अच्छी की है इस टूर्नामेंट में. तो आप
ओवरऑल अच्छा गया उसका टूर्नामेंट. और दूसरा ये कि हसन अली को जल्दी से अपना जो रन अप है उसको ठीक करना चाहिए. इज अ फैंटास्टिक बॉलर, बट जब आपका कॉन्फिडेंस व्हेन यू हिटिंग द क्रीज एंड देयर इज अ डाउट देयर माइट बी नो बॉल, योर एक्यूरेसी, योर एग्रेशन, योर एवरीथिंग comes to a down. So he needs to fix that no ball.
Not just a no ball. I think me and Sir discussed I think 2 years back in PSL and spoke to him about cutting his run up a little bit shorter. That will give him more balance at the crease. Because sometimes because he's not a tall guy, sometimes his front leg is bent, so he needs more stable base at the crease, like when he delivers the ball. And that's why if you see whenever he's performing well, his consistency is there, but now and then, here and there, he give you a boundary ball. So
well, too late to worry about that.
No, you got
There's an expression I couldn't use here, but I'm not going to use it.
You got a future ahead.
we trust why are you not using it.
Indeed, that's right. Right, okay.
Let's not go there.
Okay, so let's look ahead. Right, what's happening on Sunday?
I think there is some final.
Yeah, where is it?
We can find that out right now. It's New Zealand versus Australia 14th November. दुबई के क्रिकेट स्टेडियम से आपको लाइव दिखाया जाएगा. इन दोनों टीम्स ने आज तक T20 वर्ल्ड कप ट्रॉफी नहीं उठाई, तो इस मैच के बाद एक नया चैंपियन T20 का हमारे सामने होगा. अब देखना होगा कि कौन चैंपियन होता है, whether it's New Zealand or Australia.
Indeed, right. There's one piece of news about that game coming up on Sunday. Devon Conway, who's been keeping wicket and made runs the other day for New Zealand, is out of that final with a broken hand. So likely that Tim Seifert might well come in, a replacement keeper. Right, we need you to take the minutes
Right now?
of this. I think so. I think we need to get an early impression
Okay.
from everyone.
Finals
Who's
predictions.
gonna, yes, it's a final prediction.
Australia for me.
Oh, so early, Javed.
Javed. Akif
Australia.
said Australia.
Okay, well, let the left wing think about it. These left wing think tanks, they take a
Okay.
bit of time.
I'm,
Vivi?
I'm looking at the two flags almost look the same.
Well, actually, can I tell you something about? Have you spotted something about both flags? In the left-hand corner, look what they got there.
Spot the difference.
I know it's
called the Union Jack.
Union
Anyway.
Jack, yeah.
Gets everywhere. Or
But,
used to anyway.
I'm afraid I have to say it, man. Australia.
Okay.
Australia. So Viv, Australia.
Okay.
Okay.
Lord Gower.
Lord Gow, what do you want?
I'm going to go New Zealand.
Okay.
I'm
New
going to give them
Zealand.
respect
Because they beat
because
England?
they beat the us.
They beat the us. Now your English is going down.
Don't spend time with us.
Yeah, this time I will go with Sir Viv and Akif bhai because with Australia.
Akif bhai,
Australia, Sir
Yeah, because they
Viv.
beat
What
the
is it?
second good.
Australia.
Australia. Azhar bhai.
Australia.
Oh, Australia. Rashid bhai.
Rashi.
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Big margin.
Wow.
Big margin, New Zealand.
Yeah, David Conway nahi hai, that's why I went for Australia.
Okay, 1, 2,
Bradford
3,
है।
4. 1, 2, 3. 4 Australia.